that has made news in the last 48, in the last 24 hours, or the last 12 hours, is what we talk about on daily basis. All right. So if you are but someone who is very enthusiastic about the development and happenings in Nigeria, current happenings, you want to get first-hand information and the analysis, this is the program to listen to every weekday. So in the morning, every morning, Mondays to Friday, you wake up 8 a.m. Even before then, you tune to 99.5 Bush FM and listen to very wonderful and interesting programs, one of which is what you're about to listen to now. All right, so this here is a program that's been designed with you at heart, with you at the center of it, with you in our minds. You know why? Because you are very important. At some point, we'll open up the phone lines to let you in on the conversation. Just jump in and say your minds. We do that with the aid of analysts that we bring here to dissect the topics and make sense of it. On this day, on Let's Talk, corruption. Army orders investigation into allegation of troops poor feeding. Army has ordered an investigation into the allegation of troops poor feeding, especially those frontline personnel. And then ministerial nominee, Tinubu writes Senate to confirm 3 additional ministerial nominees. 3 additional ministerial nominees. I have with me here a security expert, a public affairs analyst, a farmer. He has reneged being a politician. Jackson Dekojo is with us this morning. Mr. Jackson, you're welcome.
It's my pleasure. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. So quickly, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Therese Labaja, ordered an investigation into an allegation of poor feeding of frontline troops in the Northeast Theater of Operations. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Oyema Wachiku, made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja. Wachiku said that the welfare of troops are being given premium by the present leadership of the Nigerian Army and was one of the vital pillars of the Nigerian Army command and the command philosophy targeted at motivating the force. Now, the Nigerian Army, therefore, takes these allegations very seriously and it has directed immediate investigation into the complaints to ascertain its veracity and unravel the circumstances, the Army spokesperson said. Now, in time past, we've seen this. It's not the first time that this allegation, it might not directly be about feeding, but several allegations of the army not taking seriously, not motivated enough to fight and protect our borders, fight terrorism, fight insurgents, defend the integrity of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So investigating this particular allegation is very important. But I want your reaction, first off, from this allegation, because it might be that some people who the army will be are heavy on might be fighting back through the back door to see that it further dampens the morale of the troops that have been fighting insurgents in the northern part of Nigeria.
Well, in my own language, I call it a tactical sabotage. What do I mean by tactical sabotage? These guys, the men at the war front, because it's war, really. The men at the war front, honestly, they need to be encouraged. They need to be motivated. They need to be well fed. They need their welfare packages. If they have chances to receive alert, they should just wake up and receive alert to be very, very surprised that something like this, then you are motivating them. Then you are spurring them into actions. That's the way it should be. But why do I say this thing is a tactical sabotage? It's a tactical sabotage. Let me just take, for example, while we were still very, very young in the village those days, and we are going to do labor work for people's farm. The owner of the farm might prepare good food for us in order for us to be motivated, to be energized, to heap, do heaps, maybe for 4,000 those days. But by the time they are bringing the food to the farm, somebody has divided the food into 3. We go away with 2 portions of it, just bring small things. So by the time we just eat this food, after like 2 hours, maybe 10, 11, we are tired, we are hungry, we have to go back home. So in the military system, they won't go back home, because if they go back home, they write them, they call it mutiny, or they call it a war. You understand? So now, some persons are not happy. Some persons have financial, pecuniary reasons to support these bandits. Some have religious sympathy for them. Some emotional sympathy on them. Some satanic sympathy that let them destroy it. Let them destroy the country. There are a lot of them like that. And there is no way these people can go to the military on in the battlefield to say, men, don't fight, drop your gun, and others. So the only thing they could do is internally those evil men within the military. The major way to sabotage the system is to make sure they stop them from eating good food. And when somebody is carrying AK-47, when somebody is carrying M240, when somebody is operating GPMPG, and such a person is hungry, immediately the hunger come, the hunger will turn to what? Will turn to anger. And immediately the hunger turn to anger, what's the next thing? Will be demoralized. The next thing is, instead of these men to fight offensively, they will be fighting defensively. And do we need them? We need both.
You mentioned that there might be sabotage, a diversionary tactic. From what?
By the time they say, give them, use this one to buy food, go and feed them. Let them take coffee. Those that take coffee. Those people that want to take energy drink, let them take energy drink. Those people that want to take orange juice, let them take. Let them eat gari. Whosoever that do not want to eat gari, if it's amala, because these people, you need to prepare varieties for them to select.
Okay.
You understand? Just like in the American military, you don't even need to go to battlefront. There is free meal for them, and when that meal is 8 hours, the remaining one will be trashed out. They want them to be well fed, well paid, well taken care of. You have the medical team on the field on a daily basis, do their sugar test, do their BP test, and every other thing on 2-week basis, because these people are open to mosquito and other insects. They test their malaria parasite, they test their typhoid and this thing.
Okay.
You understand? So, but all these facilities have been made available by the executive. The chief of army staff and the chief of defense staff has released it, but for some persons to convey it, they begin to reduce
So
it.
it's not as though the allegation is frivolous. It's something that is plausible that it might be happening in the army.
It has been happening. Some times ago, a military general I didn't want to mention,
Okay.
serving in Sokoto, collected 500 million, sent it through his men to take it to his Abuja home. That money is for what? Those monies are for to pay allowances, feeding and other things, medical kits and other things. You understand? It happened that time. At the end of the day, the military tribunal or whatever, they demoted this man from the rank of Major General to Colonel. There are times men, our soldiers on the battlefield, they will come out, do video, send it to the public that they are suffering here. I've seen many videos where our men, after fighting in the evening, all of them gather one cup of garri, they were soaking it. And what type of water?
And you don't think it's for just photo ops?
It's not.
The reality on ground. What makes you think that?
What
That a country as Nigeria cannot properly feed its army?
It's not that country Nigeria. It's not that the presidency did not request for the money. It's not that the Senate or House of Representatives did not approve it. It's not that the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff do not send the money for all these things there. Do you expect the Chief of Army Staff to take all these things to the battlefield himself to go and inspect it? No. But between Abuja and the ground zero, the war zone, the war ground there, something must have happened. And to me, I don't think these people are doing it to enrich themselves. If they are doing it to enrich themselves, at the same time, they are using it to sabotage the effort of the federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, inimical to the peace and tranquility we need.
And don't you think that's dangerous? I mean, if the army that defends your territory are not properly motivated,
yes,
it doesn't it portend danger for the country?
I analyze something now. When you keep the men hungry, the hunger will turn to anger. The anger will turn to what? They will neglect. And I use one term. I say instead of them to fight offensively, they will be fighting defensively. What do I mean to fight? The purpose of them going to the war front is to go and fight offensively, fight against the satanic terrorists or whatever you call them. But when they are not well fed, what do you think they will do? They will fight defensively. Defensively what? To defend only themselves from being killed at the war front. You understand? And this is not good for us.
When this administration came in,
yes,
it promised to fight insecurity to a standstill.
Yes.
I mean, when you fight insecurity, you fight from within and without.
Yes.
From outside and from inside.
Yes.
And one would have thought that the Chief of Army Staff, Tariq Labaja, would have done things differently. I mean, you mentioned here that allegations like this have existed in the past. And it's not a thing, and I think this is the most important part of it. Morale, the motivation of the troops at the war front, it should be paramount. We shouldn't be hearing news of where we've released money, but it did not get to what happened to the channel of passage from the people who had given it to the troop right there at the war front. At that change, why have they not curbed that corruption that have existed, that seem to have existed, that has kept the men of Nigerian army and their morale down?
When I heard this, I was so surprised, and at the same time, I was very happy, but surprised. Surprised that
something like this is still happening.
Me, things like this, I know it's still happening.
Okay, you know?
I know it is happening on a daily basis. These people are crying out. You understand? Even at times the GOCs, the money that's supposed to get to the GOC will not even get to the GOC. If 1,000 tin milk supposed to get to the GOC for proper distribution, maybe it's only 300 will get to the GOC. So we know that this is happening. But you know why I am surprised? I am surprised that you mean an army chief in the top echelon can come out to make this public, because in the time past they won't make it public. They will just make it as a, everything military. They say it's confidential. You understand? They will just keep it confidential. One man over there are dying. Some carry heavy gun. They will fall with their gun. Died. When you hear that the numbers of these were killed by the militants, by the Boko Haram, by the bandits, it is not all of them that were killed with bullets. Some of them died of hunger.
That's what you suspect.
That is it. We hear things. I am not come.
Okay, so you have. Let's agree with your position. Let's just assume without conceding that yes, the federal government may be doing its bit to make sure that all of this is possible. The frontline soldiers are kept at a very comfortable stand so that they can withstand the pressure and offensive when it comes. Let's agree. Is it not possible that we if this the chain of passage to the front line can it be broken? I mean, the chain of command. Let this get directly to the frontline soldiers. Is that not a way out?
How is it going to get straight to the men at the front line directly? How?
I mean, if you whatever channel you pass to get it, seems not to be getting to the soldiers.
Can I tell you? This is a system that when me and you called me are the one that's supposed to transport this thing, and we are dividing it. If it is Ife and Samuel that they move us, we quickly tell them this is the way we have been doing it. So don't change and do. You understand? You know the only solution now. The only solution now is that they could even bug the system. Men of the NIA, we have the DSS. We could tell these people to monitor them.
But do we really need that? For instance, let me give you an example.
There are some things that are not necessary.
Let me give you.
But in a situation when things are getting bad, you bring those things that are not necessary. If you can curb the situation.
What I feel is, for instance, 15 bars of soap were released to the frontline soldiers in Urumundeli or in Alo, in Omagwa. 15 bars of soap. 10 cans there. Who will report that in 15 bars of soap?
This thing, if it's a crime, can I call it a seriously organized crime? The people that are sending it from the store, they are part of the deals. The people that are transporting it, they are part of the deals. Can I tell you, the worst set of people, they are not even the people transporting it. The worst set of people, the area, the military top echelon need to monitor very well is the point of departure. Okay. And the point of delivery there. Those people, maybe you okay, let's say room aluminium, take 10 cartons of coke to the men there. In Rumundele, take 20 cartons of malt to that place, and at the spot there, only 5 were given. And the information that got to the man at the other end that will receive it, that you will receive 20, you will receive 5 but accept that you receive 20. Yes. The men transporting it, they may not even be part of the style. Because the men transporting it is just for them to load it and say, hey, Sergeant this, Sergeant that, or you move it to Rumo Lumini. Sergeant this, Sergeant that, move it to Omagwa. So and you say yes, sir.
And we do not have periodic auditing of
who is going to, the auditing department too could be corrupt. When you tell the audit to go there, audit, the audit too, something is already waiting for him. So instead of the auditors to go there to audit, the auditor will just tell them, say, write whatever you want to write. Let me just come there. When they just come there, they will just sleep in hotel for like 2 weeks, and the report the people wrote is what they are going to transmit to their own document and sign.
So in all of this and intricate,
Can
complicated setup.
Can I tell you this? The Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. President himself, should wake up heavily, more than before, to study this, because at the end of the day, his name is there. Nobody is going to mention one general's name. If two persons, that's why I tell you that the men, they can get what they call eavesdroppers in the store.
Because I was coming to solutions to all of
Solution. They can get what they call eavesdroppers in that place, in the store. They will just recruit the men. They can just recruit men of the men of NIA, National Intelligence Agency, DSS, military intelligence and others, to be part of the people in the store. They may not be high-ranking officers. They may be young officers. They may be sergeant or whatever. You understand? To be part of the store, they will just transfer them. Nobody knows what they are coming to do. Say, hey, please, let all these boys be there, loading all these things to make it faster. Those people are bugged. So, if those people at the end of the day, they're supposed to load 200 and they were instructed by the big men in the store to load only 50, by the time they leave the place, they send the information with proof to the authority. So, by the time you get it, the information from that spot, you don't even need to go to the the delivery end.
If the crime was as organized as you have narrated,
what
do you think it will be sensible enough to get investigators from within the ranks and file of the army?
If you listen to me, I feel Nigerians are listening to me. I said you can recruit the men of the NIA, National Intelligence Agency. DSS, you understand?
A mixture of intelligence.
Across. Yes, and these are not the people of high rank.
Okay.
The people of high rank can always discuss and agree.
At that level.
At that level. You don't send these people, the people do not even know if these people are civilians. Say, come, anytime you want to move this thing, let us send this, we don't need soldiers to do that. Let soldiers go to wherever they are beat. So let these boys, civilians, let them come and help you load and go. These people there will never know that these men are here for eavesdropping. What is eavesdropping? You understand? You are gathering intelligence without nobody suspecting you.
Okay.
If they do that, they don't need to do that at the delivery point. They need to do that at the loading point. That is where, at the takeoff point, that is where the crime is mostly committed. On transit, it will be very, very difficult.
One key thing you've mentioned is the fact that the corrupt persons can collaborate at the highest level. If you use hungry officers who are hungry for glory, who are hungry to make a name for themselves with integrity, I think this will be a very credible tactics to use against fighting corruption.
Which men? Big men?
No, I mean the younger officers that are hungry to make names for themselves.
What do? It is not everything that should be revealed in there. But what do? Those men that are going there, if their salary and other emoluments, if it's 200,000 naira in a month, for this special work we are going to do, you are going to earn 1 million.
As some form of motivation.
Yes, you are going to earn 1 million, and by the time you do this for 6 months, your result will first you promotion into steps, and you will see that they will do it the best way, and these people will never suspect because they believe. Sometimes ago, let me tell you one thing before I even came to the security world.
Okay.
Sometimes ago, I was working somewhere in Edo State. The white man that was the managing director of that company, the white man know how to do one or two things here and there. So I suggested to my directors, the owner of the company, I said, let us look for a driver. Let us change this man driver. Let us take a driver that is well educated, that will be paid well, but the driver will always pretend like if he's an illiterate. So if the man buy newspaper, when the driver want to read in the presence of that man, he will turn the newspaper upside down. And the man will then look at foolish illiterate. So they are free to do everything in the presence of this stupid illiterate. They never knew that he was educated.
Okay.
That is it.
I get you.
That is it. So there are so many ways to do it, which I may not reveal here.
Right. Okay.
You understand? But the little I've revealed now, if you get to them, we will use it. But what I'm telling you, I am glad, I am happy, and I have hope now that something could be better if the military chiefs
take proper action.
If they could release this thing to the public domain, that the public is aware of this, that means there is going to be something done very soon.
All right. If they can shade out of their secrecy to reveal this, something what we're looking at, others ordering investigation into the allegation of troops poor feeding. Troops at the forefront of the war against insecurity, terrorism, and banditry, not feeding well. That's an allegation, and the army says we are going to investigate this. It's a very serious one. Quickly, let's jump into the next one before we open up the phone lines. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sent the names of 3 additional ministerial nominees to the Senate on Tuesday for approval. The nominees are Dr. Jamila. Is it Jamila? Yes. Jamila Balarabe Abbas and Ayodele Oluwale or Lawande. And then the ministers should be designated to serve as the Minister of Youth, pending the confirmation by the Senate. All right, so 3 more ministers. Why are we expanding the cabinet? We keep talking about not having enough money to take care of some other needs in Nigeria. From what we hear from credible sources here and there, we might also go borrowing before the first quarter of there's a borrowing setup for the first quarter of next year, suspecting that we might borrow for the first quarter of 2024. And these are money and debt piling up. So does it make sense? Help me make sense of this confusion that I'm having. Is this not going to pile up government expenditure on governance? A minister is entitled to at least one or 2 official cars. This money, this will not be dashed. It will not be handed. It will be bought by taxpayers' money. The minister is entitled to some other immediate staff. Is it not going to bloat the expenditure of government on this? Please help me enlighten me on this.
If there is no economic considerations, and what the considerations we are having is what I term to be compensatory government, in which people are being compensated, and now I want to say unduly compensated, and there is no economic consideration, the country might be hitting the rock economically very soon. Now we know that the money we are owing globally and internally now, I think if the next 15 generations yet unborn will be able to pay. And we are not downsizing our spending. In the time past, we used to have, there is constitutional provision that each of the state or the federation should be represented at the federal government cabinet. But later they said, then 1 minister of state each must come from each of the geopolitical zones. So 36 plus 6, that's 42. We used to have it 42. And to me, that 42 is even too many, too plenty, too enormous to satisfy. Just like we were saying, if I am the minister, I think with my backup car, with my security car and others, my staff car, because my SA, my PA and others, the chief secretary or whatever will not follow me in my own car and they will not sit in my backup car. So they have the press call, they have to, so following a minister is minimum of maybe 6 or 7 vehicles. And the ministers that left office, the new ministers that are resuming now, they are not going to use the vehicles bought by the last minister in the last administration. They have to go and buy their own. Then you will have SA, SSA, the SA will have his own PA, the SSA will have maybe 2 PA, we have their own drivers, they still have their security men. So attaching to a minister, you might see nothing in the office of a minister with his SA, SSA, PA to PA, you might see more than 20 cars. Then each of the ministers alone could have 20 police officers. And within Nigeria is under policed. Whereas 70% of our police officers are following the VIPs. So now, there is no economic consideration. It's just to satisfy those people that worked. The ministry, we used to have Ministry of Youth and Sport. But now, the Ministry of Sport is separate. Now, Ministry of Youth is now separate. Then, under the Ministry of Youth now, you have senior minister, you have junior minister. That is, under Ministry of Youth and Sport before, that we used to have only 1 minister, now we'll be having about 3 ministers now.
If these ministries
yes,
that we're activated now are working expeditiously, are working actively to generate ideas that will boost the economy,
it is
isn't that going to count in our favor?
My brother, go to your Google or go to how many America. Tell me the numbers of ministers they have in America. They are the most influential country in the world. They are like the best economy in the world. They are the richest country in the world. How many ministers do they have in America? So, what are we talking about? With the present day economy, what we need to do is to minimize the number of ministry we have in the manufacturing. They call it multi-machine manning. In a situation whereby 1 man will man about 3 machines. That is what we need now. And we have men in this country that can handle 2 ministries together. There is no point divide the Ministry of Youth and Sport going to 3 now to have 3 ministers. Is abnormality of the highest order. It's not an insult. It's an analysis. It's a truthful analysis. So, to me, 48 with 3 or thereabout, or maybe 47 before, because Kaduna has not gotten the replacement for Rufai, the former governor.
We just got one now.
Yes, we just got one now. So, maybe at the time you are putting it together, maybe we are talking about 51 ministers. No. In the present situation we are facing today in this country, we don't need it. We don't need it. People even have to. Let me tell you one thing. Before, I will go and buy 2 cartons of tin milk. I will still go and buy big packet of a big tin of powder milk. But now you know what I do? To cut cost. I now buy nylon sachet milk. It's still milk inside. And my people, my children now, they are comfortable with it. In the time past, both handkerchief, everything, rag in the house. We pack everything, give it to the laundry men. But now, you know what we do? We use our washing machine at home to wash the cloth. Then the one for outing, we give it to dry cleaners to go and iron. The one for domestic use, everything, we don't iron it again. If we want to iron it, we put iron on our own to do it. What are we doing? We are cutting cost. Before, in my house, waking up 5 a.m., we run generator till 2. We have it between 2 and 6. By 6, we run it to 12. Now, there is nothing like it now. 8 o'clock at night. And off it, switch it off by 10. What are we doing? We are cutting cost. When the economy comes back to normal again, we can go back to all those ones. We really need to cut cost now to the barest minimum. This is not, we don't need bogus executive council now. We need few men in the executive council, the right thinkers. The men and women. Nigeria can parade an array of men and women that can govern the world. If the world need only one president today, Nigeria, in Rivers State alone, we can parade men and women that can govern the world, the entire globe. So if you have those men, why not tell them to put yourself instead of plenty of this? We need more of advisors. Not those advisors that you are appointed, they don't have office. They are just to take salary and allowances and attach a car and police to them. No! We need men and women that can challenge Mr. President. Mr. President, this cannot work well. This is how we should do it.
All right.
If we come back to that situation, things will be. I don't want to go deep. When that is brief, possibly I was maybe a year or 2 years old. When he governed Rivers State, I read about the men and women that he gathered around him that time. Look at him. The government have been coming and going. They have not been able to maintain the structures he built.
The legacy is left.
The legacy. They are not able to maintain. Not to talk of building on it.
Let's quickly look at the replacement for El-Rufai. Possible replacement from Kaduna State. Balarabe Abbas was a lecturer before venturing into politics, was secretary to Kaduna State government. You feel this caliber of personnel, of person will fit in properly? I mean, that call for a personality, losing a personality like El-Rufai, might still will dominate the discussion on the table whenever Balarabe Abbas is mentioned, don't you think?
Balarabe Abbas is somebody that I don't know him very closely, but I heard much about him. But I'm very close to the northern Nigeria. Balarabe Abbas is somebody that in the new cabinet they want to bring him to, if things are not done the right way, and his opinion cannot count, he will resign.
Okay.
Yes. Those are men. He is a man that, let me not go deep, he is a man that they want to do allocation of land and other things, and at the end of the day they went back and say, Governor, you cannot get, because you don't need it. Those are the men that will confront the governor. Governor, no, we can't do this way. If you do it this way, people will suffer. It's a man like that. So, but it cannot be like El-Rufai. There is no minister in this administration. Put 10 of them together. Cannot be equated to one El-Rufai. Why? It's not because of education.
Okay.
But El-Rufai is somebody that when you say 2 plus 2 is equal to 3, is ready to die with you there. He must correct you.
All right.
I must let the whole world know that you are doing the wrong thing.
All right, time to open up the phone line. 0907-084-9073. 0907-084-9073. The phone lines have been ringing since we started. The time to open it up now. 0702-500-2007. Hello, good morning. All right, 0702-500-2007, 0907-084-9073. Hello, good morning. Hello, good
Ah,
morning. Good
it's a
morning.
pity.
Good morning. The real gift, welcome.
Thank you very much. And good morning to you, Security IQ.
Thank you. God bless you always.
Thank you, sir. And you too.
Whenever you call, it give me joy. Amen.
Let me add
Yeah. Yes.
my radio chief,
Go on.
nobody goes to meet the elected doctor to ask her why should they have to do that. You understand my point? So for those who are appointed to go to the glory. But let's look at the number of senators this and the economy as we have it today. Is it not the same government that is telling every government of what to adjust themselves? So what are we talking about there? You have 50 ministers with their needs and what are the years related employment of family presence.
Wow.
It's more than less than say, take 50 of those ministers, 25. The salaries of those 25 presidents, the ministers and their needs, can't use it to set up a factory that will employ more than 20 persons or at least 50 persons, let's put it that way. Now, contributing to the economy and providing something for the family. For me, I think the movement of today is overloaded in terms of the ministerial appointments, and what have you. This is my personal opinion here because the truth is that, for me, just like the IT was said, if you are adjusting yourself, it's because you are not one of those that is employed now. Is it not?
Yes.
President want me definitely this ever to swipe my wings down. Regular issue of this issue of the ministry. You know, I told you my community that it doesn't matter the size of your head, big or small, the most easy to wear your cap. Because you can't wear your cap on your shoulder. Now, is it that this is the first time the military hierarchy is knowing that some of this issue has been in the military as well as the army? For me, let that be the director of purpose because from everything the security chief has said, you cannot convince me that the hierarchy of the army or the military are not aware of the strategy. If he himself is an outsider, knows about the strategy, not of the person we they have, why he knows that they have. Thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. I want to also announce that you can send your text message to this particular number 0702-500-2007. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, God, God, God.
Captain, you're welcome.
And let me just that would be your appointment. You see, this session of this government, what we see here is appointment. Appointment. If you check this particular administration, have never settled down to think positively how they will generate the suffering of Nigerians, going by the trajectory of this political party which I belongs to. What we hear everywhere is that people have set back, have done it's all about appointment. See, we cannot continue to the appointment can go on. Anybody that thinks it's just a way of employing big man, because anybody that appointed as a minister is already a big man. They can't appoint him as a minister, no matter how competent that caption happens to be. They can't be appointed as a minister. It's always supposed to be big men.
Exactly.
So nobody, I will not agree with my friend that it's all about creating employment. No. But let the president settle down. What is happening in the military? It's just that the president access of military has been patronized. That's why the solutions are being provided from year and year. Even if I want the rank and file, they know what to do or how to do or navigate about to meet their agenda. But because the compromise and setting, I tell you, that is what the status quo for now. I'm talking about that man that they appointed. He's quite unfortunate that how Elrufai came out on the whole thing and Elrufai about. Elrufai is not Elrufai is my man. But Elrufai is not right. The whole lady in this party.
How? Please explain.
You see, I know Elrufai according to your best. Elrufai is the person that is ready to die for the truth.
Yes.
But then how Elrufai changed to begin to go to River State, to begin to dance among those ones that he has said something about. And so I did not understand about Elrufai. And that Elrufai took that decision to come to River State and commission the project, begin to talk not
All right. I was hoping that you were going to make me understand. We'll take two more calls and then come back to the studios to finalize this discussion. I have a text message here. I'm going to read this text message. And, okay, there's no. It says the problem with the Nigerian army is that it's cesspool of of corruption. The military at the top hierarchy are busy aligning their pockets. Uh, this allegation should be investigated because it's not the first time it is happening. Let's be very careful. I salute the gallant soldiers at the forefront of this war. They should be properly motivated. Unfortunately, you did not put your name. All right. The next one says, when people see ministerial position as a means of employment, I wonder where their conscience are. Ministers who are already rich as past government functionaries, past governors, how does this amount to employment of the ordinary Nigerian? And you did not put your name. What's going on? Please add your name to it so that we can be sure where this is coming from and where the text message is coming from. And this one here says, I love your guests. Every time you bring on a guest like this, it gives me joy. He has told you that the military might not be free of corruption. If that's what you mean, might not be free of corruption. We should clean out our house. The military is vital to securing the integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your name is Alan. Hello, good morning.
Thank you, my brother.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
John from Port Harcourt.
Yeah, good morning again. Good morning.
Thank you.
Go on quickly.
Anything like happening in any part of the world, especially the government now, whether it's that, no matter how good they do with sort of that one sector, literally, whenever after government, whenever it's corruption, they are going to know, because they get corruption.
Mm.
The soldiers are complaining to the camp before they have to come and transport loads out to the box. These are the don't complain now. But the soldiers are not people that you keep quiet. One. Then two, I don't see a ministerial post as an employment.
Oh.
There's no security in it. Any employment that has a security in it for the same employment. What is about the employment? That's for us to do that before. Is that
Yes.
employment?
All right.
Because
So,
they are training Nigerian economy just to see that these guys they are getting fat for nothing. At the end of the day, you need to
no, but you can't say they are doing nothing. They will oversee ministries.
okay. At the end, what result? So far, what result have you finished of it? Because the guy was saying, what result have you finished?
God bless you, my brother. God bless you.
What we call the identify. Identify the governor, the governor, and that the international last week. And identify anything about it. That was very moment I wrote identify up. Because as a partner, you can't be your house, you have some fire, and you're quiet about it. All you do is say, you're just security officer, just now.
All right.
There's nothing like who did that? The governor did that.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. There is Justin Olekojo quickly with 2 minutes. Let's see how we can provide a solution to this over bloated cost of governance at the center, especially the nomination of ministers. And we're not sure this is the end of it. We might wake up tomorrow morning to hear that some names have been sent to the Senate, ministerial nominees. What's your your closing statement?
Assuming we have a Senate that knows what they're supposed to do. Mr. President could send name of nominees
And they will refuse to confirm.
and they will refuse to confirm and they will go indoor with Mr. President. Mr. President, we did not dishonor these your nominees, but we look at it that we cannot afford it. Because at the end of the day, when we want to borrow, Mr. President will still go to them for approval. So instead of you now to begin to wait for the approval of by another borrowing, why not nip it in the bud by discourage Mr. President to do it? because that is the only arm of government that have the power, constitutional power, to advise through the principle of check and balances, the Mr. President. So if Mr. President, Yoruba proverb said, the person that stole is not the worst. The person that bought it, that he know that this is a stolen property and he bought it, you encourage him to steal more. So if the Senate can stand on their feet, it's not for them to, on the floor of the Senate, to begin to know. They can just go in here to Mr. President. Mr. President, for economic reasons, we cannot afford to approve more ministers for you, sir. The numbers you have, let us make do of it. If not, just like we have said, a time is coming. I am able to say this one is not an insult, but I have sat in my own and I believe there is already projection for 2027 to encourage some persons to enlight political cloud. That is it.
All right. Thank you very much, Jackson Lekojo, for your time here on Let's Talk. He is a public affairs analyst, a security consultant, and not just an award-winning security consultant. He has differed. He has really reneged being a partisan politician.
Yes.
You're just a politician, not a partisan politician.
No, I played